today's guest is a Commonwealth Games gold medalist, Olympian, a multiple WBC featherweight boxing champion, and was the first Australian woman to box at the iconic Madison Square Garden in New York. Thank you so much for joining me today, Skye Nicholson.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks.
very happy to be here.
Yes, well, thank you. I'm super pumped that you're going to be on the podcast. I did just want to kind of touch on like a big part of your story, which I'm not sure if a lot of people do know about this, about like your brothers who passed away just a year before you were born. So, and I've heard people say that there were quite a few similarities with one of them and your boxing style as well. But like, how have you kind of had like a connection to them through the sport, and maybe how that's played a big part in like your boxing journey?
Yeah, so Jamie and Gavin unfortunately passed away in a car accident a year and a half before I was born. They were 10 and 22 driving to boxing training in a storm. So I never met them, but I obviously grew up hearing all about them, the amazing people that they were. I grew up feeling like I was very similar to Gavin, the younger brother. He was very much into musical theatre, dance, acting. He had started boxing as well, but that was his thing. He was a performer. And Jamie was one of the best boxers to ever come out of Australia. Also a Commonwealth medalist, world medalist, Olympian. So I had pretty cool role models growing up in my brothers that I never met. And yeah, I think when mum and dad found out they were having a girl, they kind of were quite relieved that I was never kind of going to be compared to them. And I ended up just being like a double, pretty much both of them into one person. But yeah, obviously with boxing, it's definitely given Jamie and I a very close bond and relationship, which is quite strange to think about, like with a sibling that I never met.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like I know him and we're very close. A lot of my boxing journey has been, I guess, comforted by the fact that I knew he was on the same path and the same journey and had been there and done it all. And yeah, it's definitely been a big part of who I am and shaped who I am as an athlete and as a person.
Yeah, so it sounds like you really did have a really similar path and story to them. But I guess, how did you kind of like, and how are you maybe like still navigating that and being similar to them and having those things that are similar to them, but also trying to like create your own path? Like, have you had to maybe try to find a balance, or has it just really like come naturally in that way?
Yeah, I think everything's been quite natural. I feel privileged to feel as close to them as I do, considering I didn't ever get to meet them. But I do feel like I knew them just as everyone else in my family did, and I felt like I lost them the same as everyone else in my family did. And I think I've never been compared to them. Definitely not in a negative light anyway.
Yeah.
But to be told that I remind someone of them, I feel is a privilege for me, to know that I could be the shining light that they were in people's lives. Has always been, a nice feeling for me.
I did kind of want to like maybe change gears a bit, asking, because I knew you kind of always grew up with a dream to represent Australia, but like you did it at home at the Commonwealth Games and winning a gold medal, and then Tokyo going. But I did see like the quite emotional interview that you did like after the Tokyo Olympics when you got knocked out. So it seemed like that was quite an emotional time for you. But like, what was that period like when you'd grown up with that goal? And
yeah, it was hard because obviously it was a long journey to the Olympic Games. I tried for the London Olympics, didn't make it. Tried for the Rio Olympics, got very close, didn't make it. So by the time Tokyo came around, it wasn't just about going to the Olympics anymore, it was about winning it.
yeah.
And I truly 100% believed that I was going to win gold at the Olympic Games. And it's very hard when your dream is kind of right there, like a dangling carrot right in front of you, and you come so close and just fall short. And
Yeah.
it was a really, really hard loss for me because it was out of my hands a little bit. The fight was so close that it could have gone either way. 5 judges round the ring, 3 saw her as the winner by 1 round, 2 saw me as the winner by 1 round. There was nothing in it. It was marginal, and that was the difference between medaling and not medaling. And yeah, it was very, very hard for me because obviously that was my life's work into that moment, and it was the difference of one person's opinion on whether I got an Olympic medal or not. So yeah, it was very, very hard. I think when you're in the moment, it feels like the end of the world. And how do you come back from that? Do I wait around for another Olympic cycle? Do I put myself through everything again that I've done 3 times now to try and get to that point? And yeah, it was very hard, but I think looking back now, that happened for a reason, and it's again shaped me into who I am. It shaped me as an athlete, and it was preparing me for bigger and better things.
Well, yeah, I found that like so amazing that I guess you were working so hard for that for 12 years, I guess, essentially. But then I read also that you said that you just didn't have the same dream anymore and you decided that like you wanted to go pro. But I wanted to ask more about that. Like when did you realize, and just like all about that?
Well, it wasn't an easy decision. I definitely didn't really ever have any interest in turning pro. I was just so set on the Olympics and so set on being Australia's first ever Olympic gold medalist in boxing. Not just female, like male or female. And I think coming so close and being so close to that, it was almost like I have to go again. I have to try again. And from the day after I lost, and you saw that interview, the next day it was Paris 2024.
Yeah.
Paris 2024, I'm going to go to the Olympics. I'm going to get the Olympic gold medal. There's going to be no close decisions. I'm going to make sure. And I think that's kind of always been my mindset. It's always just been like, if there's a setback, it's just going to boost me even further. It's like a slingshot. You pull it back, you shoot even further out.
Yeah.
And I had a few conversations with some managers and promoters about potentially turning professional and what that would look like. I basically told all of them I wasn't interested. Leave me alone. I'm going to Paris. But I had a few conversations where it was discussed about potentially going and trying out the pro ranks, and if I don't like it, I can still go back for the Olympics. And that was kind of like the selling point for me, where I was like, you know what, I can go try something else. If I don't like it, Paris is still going to be there. I'll go back for Paris. And that was 100% when I turned professional. I'm still doing Paris. I'm going and getting that Olympic gold medal. And I turned pro. I moved to London. Got a really good team around me, and just kind of dived straight in the deep end in my pro career. And about 6-8 months into that, I started thinking, Paris qualifiers are getting closer. Do I still want to do that? I kind of felt my finish line and my end goal changing, something I never ever thought would happen. And I just absolutely fell in love with my pro career, professional boxing, the showmanship, the everything that's kind of involved, the build up in the fights, the storylines, all of it really. I loved it, and I found a new love for boxing in such a different way. And by the time it came around to qualifying for Paris, I was on the verge of a world title shot, and I just thought, do I go and put myself through that again? And potential pain of someone taking my dream and ripping it out of my hands again, or do I keep following this new path that I'm absolutely loving? And it was then I decided to just go all in on my pro career. I wasn't going to go back. I wasn't going to do the Olympics. I was just going to focus on becoming a world champion and eventually an undisputed world champion. And I have absolutely no regrets. It's been the most amazing journey the last couple of years, now being world champion, and now being back in Australia, getting to defend the belt on home soil. Yeah, it's all been worth it. And I just feel like those really hard moments where I've just felt so low and just thought, why me? You look back on those moments and it's like, wow, what a blessing that actually was. And how life could have been so different if things went my way then, compared to now. So yeah, I'm very grateful for those setbacks.
Yeah, so like it really sounds like, I mean, despite now being like, I wouldn't want to have it any other way. Like at first you were still having doubts about whether you did want to go to the Olympics and everything, but like you said, you're kind of just loving everything about pro now. But like I think I read you also said like it's a completely different sport. Like it's not like you can just, I think you also compared it to maybe like running. It's not like 100 to 200 meter, it's a full marathon. So
Yes.
like how long did it take you to adjust to all of that? Like did you realize, like when did you realize this is not going to be nearly as easy as I thought?
Yeah, I think I did go in quite blasé about just, oh yeah, I'll just dip in and try this pro boxing thing, and then I'll just go back to the Olympics, and maybe I'll just go between the two for one. No, it's they're very different sports, and like you just said, it's like being a sprinter and deciding you're going to be a marathon runner. I think it took me about a year or so to realize I wasn't going to be able to dip between the two, and I needed to go all in either way, which was when I made that choice. And I think that was when you can really see my performances and achievements kind of soar, in my pro fights as well, where you can see that moment where I went from half in it to all in. And yeah, it's been the most incredible transition. I just feel like I've become such an all-round fighter now, and I just feel like the end goal just I don't want it to end. And I feel like that's the best feeling. I want to keep getting better. I want to keep improving, and I just like, I keep thinking of new ways and new ideas about what I want to do next and what I want to achieve next, and it's exciting.
Yeah, well, it does sound like you're very fortunate that you ended up going on this path. But I was thinking, like, it's almost like there's maybe a bit of advice there, like for kids and people, because you've obviously had to change your entire mindset, switch up like what you thought you wanted when you were a little kid to now going on this completely different journey. Like, what would you maybe, yeah, say to people that are trying to like battle with changing their goals? And
I think if you're scared to make that jump or try that something new that maybe isn't what you've always wanted, or is a similar path but different end goal, whatever it might be, go and try it. Like, what's there to lose? Do you know what I mean? I just feel like it could have been so easy for me to just stay where I was comfortable, go and do another Olympic cycle, keep doing the same training in the same places I was doing all my training, stay in Brisbane, stay training in the national squad, and just sticking to the same routine I'd done for that 12 years before, or going and diving in the deep end, trying something new. And it was a bit of sink or swim there, and I swam, and it's been so rewarding, and absolutely no regrets. So I just think, if you're nervous or worried about trying something new or changing up what you've been doing, do it.
yeah, well, I'm sure as well that as many great things have come with turning pro and switching from amateur, like as well as probably having to change your training and everything. Like, how has it like impacted you, like beyond training, like watching what you have to eat for longer because you have to spend so much more time preparing for a fight, just like everything, your mental side as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think being an elite athlete is all about living the athlete lifestyle 24/7. It's all those 1%. It's what you're doing outside of the gym is equally as important as what you're doing in the gym. So it's living the life. You're not going out partying, and obviously there's always going to be a place for balance in life. But I think when you have dreams and goals and big things that you want to achieve, you have to make sacrifices, and you have to live the life. And it's the same for someone going for the Olympic gold medal as it is for someone going for a world title. You've got to be disciplined. You've got to want it more than anyone else.
Yeah.
And you have to make those sacrifices and put yourself in a position to make sure that you're going to be the best version of yourself when you perform.
Yeah, but like also about moving to the UK, like going to the other side of the world, like that, it's a big thing. Like how long did it, I guess just everything about moving there, like when did you decide you wanted to move there, and how was it going to help you with your like boxing career?
Yeah, so obviously moving to the UK, it wasn't necessarily planned. I signed with a UK-based promoter
due to the fact that they are promoting shows all around the world, and that was something that interested me, wanting to box in the UK and the US, in Australia. And there's not many boxing promotions that can offer you that opportunity. So that was a really big one for me. But obviously being based in the UK, that was where the opportunities were going to be for me, working on broadcast, being where there's great sparring opportunities, great coaching opportunities. And yeah, I found my team and set up a camp base there where I thought I would just go and do my training blocks, and come home back to Australia, in between fights. But obviously it didn't really go that way. I was fighting very, very regularly. It was basically impossible for me to have been coming home in between. And yeah, before I knew it, I basically lived there. I have British parents, so it actually helped a little bit, the moving process. It was quite easy to become a dual citizen and things like that. But Australia will always be home, and I feel like this is where I'll always end up. But for right now and for my career, it's been the move that I needed to make.
Yeah, like just one more thing, and like kind of changing gears again. Feel like one thing with Australian sport is that we tend to always like the athletes that are really humble and they don't like to put themselves out there as much. Like I know even like Sam Kerr has received like criticism in the past just for trying to be a little bit confident and like loud, like when replying to critics and stuff. But especially with boxing and like going from amateur to pro, where you seem to maybe receive like a bit more hate and you're a bit more out there, just all the athletes are. But like, have you had to like deal with a lot of that?
Yeah, I think just naturally being more in the public eye, being exposed to, I guess, more criticism and opinions, I definitely have learned to have to grow thick skin. People feel they can say whatever they want about you, to you, about your life, about your friends and family, about what you're doing, about what you look like, about how you perform. And I did really struggle with it when I first turned pro. I think I was reading every comment on every post, on every interview, and it definitely was hard. I struggled with it. But now I think I've learned, one, not to really read it. But when I do see stuff, I kind of laugh it off. I feel sorry for people that feel they need to bring other people down just because they're successful or doing well. I think if you're a person that gets, I guess, endorphins off being nasty or cruel to someone you've never met before, or I think, I kind of feel sorry for them that their life is that sad. But yeah, I feel like what you said about being confident compared to being humble, I think you can definitely be humble and confident. I think a lot of people sometimes see confidence as arrogance, and there's a big difference. I think there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. I think a confident athlete is very hard to beat because they know themselves very well and they know that they've done the hard work, and that's why they're confident. You can't go into a fight confident if you haven't done the hard work, and I think that's a big part of that. And I don't think that's arrogance. I think it's knowing yourself well enough to know that you haven't took any shortcuts. So call me arrogant if you want, but I'm confident because I know what I've done, and I know what I've sacrificed, and I know myself well enough to know that I'm bringing my best self into the ring. So if that's arrogant, then hate me. I won't read it anyway. No, but I think elite athletes in the public eye have to have thick skin, unfortunately, because people don't care. They're going to say whatever they want. And I always think, like, if I don't know you, I don't care what you think about me. I know me. And the people around me, the people I respect and love, they know me. And their opinions matter. My opinion matter. Why would I care about the opinion of someone I would never ask for advice?
Yeah, absolutely. I love hearing your perspective on that. But I do have like just a few more things that I wanted to ask you. So, a really big thing in April of 2022, you were the first Australian woman to box at Madison Square Garden, which, like, for those who don't know, the most iconic names in boxing have been there and fought there. So, just like walking out for the first time, being able to represent Australia as the first female Australian woman, like, what did that mean?
It was so special. I feel like those moments are the pinch me moments. I've had lots of them the last few years, which has been so cool. But to kind of pave that way for the generations to come as well, for young girls at home to see an Australian girl doing that in New York City, it's very empowering. Like, it's a very empowering position to be in, to know that you're inspiring girls all around the world. Not even just in Australia, but girls in general. Yes, I sometimes just have to like actually sit back and think, wow, did I do that? And it's really cool, but I think I will one day. I'll actually sit with it all and go, wow, what a journey.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you're inspiring just so many young girls and everything, and also like your past self, I'm sure. But like just last, kind of to change gears, like I feel like we see like a lot of women and girls like dropping out of sport kind of in their like late teens, early 20s, which is like a big thing for this podcast with me as well, to hopefully inspire them with some of these stories. But like from your own experiences, like why do you think people should stay in sport? Like why has it been important for you, and boxing especially?
I think, yeah, you're right. There's a really hard age, and it's usually around 16 to 18 where you see so many talented young girls just walk away from sport. I think there's this fear of missing out, this fear of not getting to go and do all the cool stuff that the cool kids are doing because you're committed to your sport. And I think it is so much cooler to not go and do that stuff because of a bigger goal that you have. And I just think, I know right now you think they're so cool, but those people are literally going to be your fans one day. They're going to be asking for a photo with you, not asking you why you weren't at the party on the weekend. And I just think, yes, it is hard, and you have to be a lone wolf sometimes, but be a lone wolf. Don't be a sheep. Don't follow the herd. If you want it bad enough, you will achieve it. And it means making sacrifices. It means doing the stuff that other people aren't willing to do.
Yeah, well, that is just such great advice, I think. But thank you so much, Skye, for your time today. It was so great to chat to you. And yeah,
thank you for having me.